Alright, we're back with the roadside PC that had dead bees and spider webs in it, and as you see, it looks a little bit different. The original plan was to just upgrade the CPU, which we did with an E8600 3.3 gigahertz dual core, and I tried to get that MSI GT 730 to work in here, and that thing is just too weak of a piece of crap to do anything. So you can tell we did upgrade the GPU. This is a ASUS Radeon HD 7790. It's a 2 gigabyte DDR5 GPU, and of course to do that we also had to swap out the power supply, which is one thing I was trying to avoid. But now we got a 550 watt power supply in here now. It's a Huntkey brand. Don't know nothing about it. All I know is it was brand new. It was put into a case that had a power supply that had burned up and taken out the motherboard, and the first thing they did was replace the power supply. Found out it didn't work, and then they just dropped the whole thing off here. So it is a new power supply. There was a lot of cables with it. There's nowhere to hide them in this case except to tuck everything up in there. So that's what we did. So from here you really don't see much of them, but it is what it is. And we've still got our Windows 7 installation on here, which we'll be able to do some testing with now. Alright, as you see, we got 3723 in Firestrike, and here's what I was talking about. Score cannot be validated, time measurement data not available, problem reading the future mark, system info data, processor, graphics card, and graphics card driver are all not recognized or approved. So yeah, it's just a weird issue, and I get the feeling it's because it's Windows 7. But anyways, we can still get a score, and we can still compare it to our other scores. Alright, so if you look here, you can see we got a 3723 this run. These were some runs down here that we got just by doing a little overclock on the GPU. So that score can definitely be raised just by overclocking the GPU. And this right here, we can compare that to a score that we got with a A8 on AMD A8 5500B. It's got this APU with a HD 76 or 7560D. Really, it's not made for gaming at all. That's with no external GPU. That's a 4-core. Our score was 753 on that, and 814. Yeah, the score of 814 was with the Core 2 Duo and the GT 730. So you can see, such a huge difference just by changing out that GPU. That 730 really was useless. Alright, so that's enough with 3D Mark. Let's see how we do in heaven. And we will do DirectX 11. Let's do DirectX 11 medium, tessellation normal at 1920 by 1080. Okay, so as you can see, it made it through that fairly well. Average FPS was 36.7 versus the GT 730, which was 6.7. So it's a massive improvement, and that's basically the only reason I'm running Firestrike and Heaven on here right now. Is just a comparison between this card and that crappy GT 730. So now we'll go into some games and check out the performance there. Alright, so we're starting things off with CSGO, and I was pretty sure it would run well on here, well enough to see how bad I suck at it anyways. But seriously, at 1080p on high settings, it ran great. With an average FPS of 75 and 1% lows at 33, yeah, it was extremely smooth to play, and of course settings can be turned down to increase that FPS. Next up is Tomb Raider from 2013. At 1080p with the high preset, it played extremely well. With an average FPS of 71, 1% lows of 43, you could even turn the settings to Ultra and it would still be quite playable. Rise of the Tomb Raider, lowest settings, 1080p, managed an average of 32 frames per second, 1% lows of about 20, and I mean it was kind of playable on there. I'm pretty optimistic that that would do better on Windows 10 with DX12, but we're going to find out. So now we're on to Warframe, and this game played alright, but it does have some very hard stutters randomly. It happens very fast, but you do notice it. At 1080p medium presets, it averaged 53.4 FPS, but the lows are just about as low as you can get, and it shows the hard stutters that I was referring to. Of course, this game has always had issues for me, including having to play in windowed mode since I still haven't been able to figure out how to exit the damn game. Soma ran extremely well. Fortunately, you don't need high FPS to play. The average FPS was 38, 1% lows 21, but overall it was extremely playable. This is a game I really need to get back into. I've never gotten very far in it, and it's a game I've always wanted to play through to the end. Okay, Far Cry 2, I just ran the in-game benchmark at 1080p with the highest settings. This wouldn't be a problem for this PC at all. Check out this chicken here. He doesn't know what he's walking into. Haha, that's some funny shit right there. And of course, we can't forget Crysis. 1080p, high preset, average 54 FPS with decent lows. Can't really say much about that. I mean, it is Crysis after all. And finally, I decided to try World War Z. I didn't even expect it to run, but I was kind of surprised that it actually did. It was a stuttery mess using Vulkan, but it was almost playable with DX11. It averaged 33 FPS with 1% lows, only dropping down to 20. It looks quite playable on the video, but in reality, it really wasn't that playable. It wasn't easy to aim. Sometimes you could definitely feel the input lag. I think what I'm going to do is install Windows 10 on here and then just do a comparison between Windows 7 and 10 for performance and see if it helps some of those stuttering issues and if we can get some improvement running DX12 on some of the titles. But anyways, that's a wrap for this video. This project was mostly for fun, just to see what I could do with a trash heap, critter infested PC that was found on the side of the road. Mission accomplished. So I think I'm going to do the Windows 10 thing. Run a bunch of benchmarks on there and see if there's any improvement. Then this sucker's going up for sale, so we will see you on the next one.